And we're back. So we missed, we saw what happened, but Andreas missed what actually happened. Andreas, what was that noise? Oh, I'm sorry, Sister Illuminata. I knocked the bowl of paint to the floor. But then Farin came in, wrote in one of his books, slammed it closed, and left. He was in such a hurry, I don't think he even noticed me. He was slamming books shut? Friar Frank should know better than that. Some of these manuscripts are quite delicate. He seemed to be in a great hurry. I think he's on edge since Baron Rothvogel arrived early, which is why books should not be taken out of the library unless it is necessary for divine reading or work in the scriptorium. What is divine reading? Lectio Divina is the thoughtful reading of and meditation on Scripture. The practice leads to prayer and contemplation. It is a daily part of life in Benedictine communities. Let me have a look at that again. It's a lion. And a brave rabbit. Well, he looks scary, but his shield is brave. A dog and a cat playing around. Awesome. Whoops. You're still mad at me for borrowing the Chronica Clara. Well, that reminds me, there are a few more books I've been wanting to borrow. It doesn't seem like the humorous type, though. I think the best humor always comes from people who aren't the humorous type. Because if everybody's a clown, then who's laughing? Or like where's the humor coming from? You need a seriousness for clowns. You can't be serious. You want more books? I think Prior Frank has given you more than enough. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't ask for those books. He just gives them to me and asks for my opinion. If it's a problem, you should bring it up with Father Gernot or Mother Cecilia. What does she want me to say? Frank just gives me those books. He hopes I have the same interest in the occult that he does and wants to talk about them. Okay, so with the occult, I could have probably gotten the books. You should just say you don't know what she's talking about, deny it, and tell her the truth. She knows Frank is the one requesting the books. Why is she complaining to you about this? That asshole Frank is the one borrowing the books. I'll tell her the truth. She wouldn't hold me accountable for something that isn't my fault, would she? Sure she would. I don't ask for those books, he just gives them to me and asks for my opinion. That's between the two of you. My concern is only for the books. I can't give them out to just anyone. So this, I thought it was a joke. You're right. I'm sorry. There's nothing to forgive. The library and its books are my responsibility. My concern for the books does not end at the library door, nor does my responsibility. Please understand that. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, what's all this fuss about Lawrence Rothvogel? Why is Prior Frank so nervous? Now we're going to see if it's Lauren... Oh, no, we're not. Damn it. And no damning in church. Lawrence, I didn't know you were familiar enough with the man to use his Christian name. Anyway, I haven't dealt with him personally, but the prior and Father Abbot have. I only know that he's purchased a number of our most valuable manuscripts over the years, and he paid enough to help the Abbey when we needed it. Like what? What did he buy? I can't remember. I have my own responsibilities to attend to. How about this, Andreas? If you help me recover some missing books, I'll tell you what I know about the Baron. I was hoping to work on my masterpiece, but I suppose I can help you. I feel like knowledge of the Baron might actually be useful. because he was seeming sort of suspicious, and he's giving money here and things like that. And of course the future, because there's going to be some sort of an adventure, I would imagine. So I can skip, you know, a little bit of my masterpiece, or working on my masterpiece, for helping. Thank you. It's for the good of the Abbey. Where should I begin? Out there, where you and your cohort have carelessly strewn books around the scriptorium, I will tell you what books I'm looking for. Find them and return them to me. The first books are 2 volumes of the Aeneid. Man, I tried reading this once, and I gotta go back to it. The Aeneid, a poetic epic telling the legend of Aeneas, a heroic Trojan who struggles to reconcile his personal desires with his destiny to found Rome. It was written in the 1st century BC by the Roman poet Virgil. Reddish covers, 14 inches by 10 inches, 3 inches thick. 1410-3 red. Innsbruck inches or Nuremberg inches? Oh, I know the ones. They're among Piero's favorites. He keeps them by my desk. What? Nuremberg inches are... What color are the covers again? Reddish. Oh, I know the ones. They're among Piero's favorites. He keeps them by his desk. They are not his to keep. He keeps them by my desk, I think it was. Take them. There's a fair amount of wear on these. I hope you don't mind. That is... Oh, she burned her... Oh, she stabbed and burned herself. Dido. And I guess that's either... I would imagine because she's pictured as a human, that she's maybe the chambermaid of Dido. Or then she's the witch, no, the goddess. I can't remember what god it was. The sorceress. There's a fair amount of wear on these, I hope you don't mind. Those volumes were old even when Piero started to make the copies. How long ago was that? 3 years. The Aeneid is one of my favorite stories, but I understand why it appeals to Piero. Did she say I don't understand, or I understand? Aeneas chose his duty to the gods over his lover Dido. Do you think Aeneas' sense of duty appeals to Piero? We all have our vocations. Brother Piero takes his more seriously than most of the others in his abbey. Clearly take your chosen vocation seriously. Andreas, I didn't have a choice in my vocation. Few women do. Well, surely it's not that dire. You're right, of course. Is it really that bad? Is being a woman that limiting? I mean, yeah, limiting for sure. Less responsibility, but less freedom. True, she knows her life better than I do. I mean, that's the general idea. I appreciate that you understand how limited our roles and our choices truly are. Although Dido was the Queen of Carthage, so then again, it depends on the woman and the situation and a lot of things. Even in stories, we are maidens to be rescued and wed, cruel seducers of men or wizened crones. I think with Dido it was, and Aeneas it was about them both, sort of. Because I can't remember exactly what was wrong with Dido's empire at the time, but then it was one of those things where I think she needed she needed an heir and things like that, or I would imagine she needed an heir and things like that. Like Dido, we ordinary women are merely tools in the tales of men. We can never be the protagonists of our own stories. I think a lot of it's about the audience, and then like who you're writing it to, in a sense. Like let's say you write a book about being a tree. Trees can't read, so nobody's going to buy that, really. And if there's no audience, then you're you're not going to be selling, because you're selling a story in a sense. Maybe selling is too modern, but you're conveying a story, and then if there's nothing to relate to for the audience, then you won't really sort of be successful in that sense. But you should. I think the idea of doing any art is to be sort of directed by what is and how things are, and then bending that to your will rather than demanding that everybody read your story, because that's not how things work. Like I don't think things work like that. It's sort of, everybody has to play by these rules in a way. Rarely are there people who are sort of lifted up just because something. But things are for sure more, some things are more challenging for, other people and stuff like that. But I think this is oddly, for a medieval nun, she's being very open about her feelings. But I guess also I'm not really a part of the church, so you can tell me anything. No woman is exempt from that, from the empress to a nun. It is our lot, unless you figure out a way out of it. I suppose I understand why you are not fond of the Aeneid. It's fine poetry for men. Now, the books, if you please. So yeah, I feel like you should get an audience, or what I say, like I'm struggling with sort of just finding a single paragraph to describe it, but I think one should write stories or books for women, and women should, if they enjoy it, should read them and then make their own sort of thing about that. But you can never sort of force yourself onto the world. If you do that, you are a bit of a douchebag. You always need to figure out a way to do it. Forcing just brings anger and things like that, usually. I think the only thing you need force against is in defense, really, or in sort of, yeah, basically that, but more complicated. Anyway, thank you. Next, Wretched Guerin. This is a printed copy, green cover, diamond pattern. Wretched Guerin. Wretched Guerin, an Italian chivalric romance written by Andrea da Barberino in the early 15th century. The titular character rises from impoverished origins to go on heroic adventures and discover his noble parentage. Originally published as a manuscript, it enjoyed greater success as a printed book. So, well, this sort of goes with the whole idea that I was just talking about, which is like he was impoverished, so he's not gonna, he's gonna be stuck on the farm as well with his wife. doing the hard labor because he's built for that, and then everybody's working, even the children are working. So, but he overcame it, and he also, of course, had noble blood just to make sure that that there's no idea of a peasant rising to power, in a sense. But this is one way of getting through it. You need to bend a little bit to fit the world, and then put your ideas out, and if they're good and well articulated and well hidden in a very strict society, then you'll push the door open a little bit. Green cover, diamond pattern. I do not have the size of the ledger, but hopefully description is enough. I know the one you're talking about. Brother Adok was reading it. It is... Adok was... there. The beauty of this book truly belies its ridiculous content. I'm surprised the Abbey owns a copy. Don't know Italian either, but it is a Romance language, so you can sometimes make words like a knight and other things, and of course it also has similarities with Latin. We don't. It belongs to Amadeo Rusco of Lugano. He's a Venetian. It is a Venetian edition that's quite valuable. Lugano or Lugano it is. Highly contested Swiss market town located in the southwestern Alps. The Dukes of Como and Milan fought for control over it until it was claimed by the Swiss Confederation in 1513. He loaned it to us 5 years ago. It was subsequently lost, and the abbot has received 3 letters about it. I've certainly seen the brothers enjoying it. That book is not appropriate reading for Benedictine monks. Pregnant ladies, murder, jousting. Founded in the 6th century, the Benedictines are a Christian monastic order that observes vows of obedience, poverty, chastity, and stability under the rule of Saint Benedict of Nursia. I have no idea where Nursia is. A baby is sold to pirates, raised a servant, then lives a life of adventure, wooing princesses and fighting in tournaments. Sounds like a comical book in a sense. You forgot the best part. In the end, Guerin learns he has royal blood, the son of a duke. He reigns as a king and dies a pious hermit. What's not to love? Benedictines should be dreaming of reconciliation with our Lord, not lusty adventures. What's the harm? Redemption will still be waiting for them when they put down the book. I suppose you're right, it's better suited for knaves like me. I mean, the more I learn about monasteries, the more sort of comical they become in a sense as well. I mean, there is sort of harm in it, but in the same sense, there's harm in leaving people with nothing to read and nothing to sort of dream about and nothing to enjoy in a sense. If they start riding horses and stabbing each other with lances, then you're going to have a problem. Yes, always, but they still must choose redemption. Should we go on sinning so grace will increase? Of course not. Fantasy leads to temptation. Temptation has led to the downfall of many men and women. Sometimes, yes. But books like this, it's all the same type of fantasy, isn't it? To die better than we are born. And what's the problem with that? Why shouldn't a peasant dream of being a king? There is neither Jew nor Greek, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Paul's words can be hard to recall when you're suffering because of your station in life. And yet Paul says that women must obey men. Even the Gospels can't free us from the bondage of our place in life. We may be one in Christ, but we are not equal in this world. I feel like I'm going to jab at her a little bit. This world is not the same as the world that follows, Andreas. Perhaps if you had continued to study theology, you would have learned that distinction. But the book, Andreas, we must return it, or would you like the abbot to receive a fourth letter? I hate to see the brothers disappointed, but I understand. It's not my goal to deprive the brothers of their joy, but to return Amadei Rusco's property. The book, please. Sure thing. There's only one book left, then you will be freed from bondage. A dark red cover, 8 inches high, 5 inches across, 2 inches thick. Sounds like my peen. What is it? The description should be sufficient. I don't know why you won't tell me, but alright, I'll find it. Very well. French. Now that I think about it, Guy has always been guarded about this book, like he was hiding it. You know who Guy is. Oh, that's a turnip man. Turnip man? It is... I gotta figure out what this is, but I thought it was going to be something else, but it's not like a romance novel, I don't think. Very good, please bring it here. What is this anyway? Ah, it's in French. The soul that God touched, empty of sin in the first state of grace. What is this? Why are you asking so many questions? Just give it to me. I want to know. Why won't you tell me? Won't you tell me what this book is? I haven't asked so many questions. I've asked one question twice and you haven't answered me. I have good reason to not answer you. Three French bishops condemned the book. All copies were to be burned. Its author shared the same fate. Why? I don't know, Andreas. It isn't my place to question the judgment of one bishop, much less 3. Shiny French. And before you ask, no, I haven't read it, but I know it contains a dialogue between love and reason. That makes sense. And I feel like I've actually either looked for this book or then actually found it. So the book is dangerous. When did the bishops condemn it? "200 years ago. Why? Why is it still here? Because Father Matthias loved books, all books. He didn't want to see it destroyed. I feel like the church has all the books they've banned somewhere, because it's it's stupid to destroy knowledge that someone has come up with, because then it's going to be happening. It's going to come up again in some other form or in the exact same form. And then if you destroy all the books, then you won't know what's going to happen again and again. So it's better to, if you want to really suppress something, you keep a hold of the books and then you destroy the copies of the books. Because I can't remember why, but I was thinking about this like at some point in my existence, but how like burning or just destroying knowledge is, well, not to, yeah, I mean, put it simply, it's stupid to destroy books and ideas and knowledge in that sense. But sometimes people are, or societies are surprised by ideas that make sense, but then they might not be, perfect, and then you're going to run into trouble. So it's always a balance between that. But these days, it's impossible to destroy any information in realistic sense in that way, because there's so many copies, and then there's everything is digitalized and stuff. But Father Matthias loved books. Sounds reckless, and he was right to do so. Books shouldn't be destroyed, even if their content is in question, and I can sympathize with him. So these days, destroying books is pretty banal. It's the only people destroying books are people burning the Quran, I think, which is not about destroying the knowledge of it, but it is to sort of push or it's to push the agenda, which I appreciate and understand. Some of the people who are doing it don't really understand, I guess, what they're doing, but they are bringing up issues in a society, which is always good if there is actually an issue. Creating issues from nothing is stupid. And you can always do that. You can always figure something out and then start making it an issue. But I understand, and I think we should do more of sort of bringing up issues that are going to fester and that are going to create problems in the future. And I think burning books that there's, probably millions of copies of it, it doesn't make a difference. But then burning it, if it sort of brings up discussion and brings up the sort of the nastiness out of people who are hiding their nastiness, I think that's the good thing. The people who burn the books bring themselves out into the open, and then the people who are angered by it bring themselves into the open, and that's the way to sort of handle a problem. You put them on the table and then you deal with it, basically. So I can sympathize with him. That's fine, but Father Matthias is gone. Oh shit, they're going to destroy this? It's not about place to question the former abbot's decision, but when Father Gernot learned it was in our possession, he wanted it destroyed. So I'm going to keep this one. How did Father Gernot even know the book was here? Must the book be destroyed? No one knows that it's here. Well, I refuse to give it to you if all you're going to do is destroy it. So I want to know how he knew, because that's a very good question, which I would not have thought of. Mother Cecilia made a note of it in the inventory when she was a librarian. Well, I refuse to give it to you. What? Why not? What are you going to do with it? Read it and become a French heretic. That's not funny, I'm serious. Give me that book or our deal is forfeit. Oh damn, I forgot we have a deal. I won't tell you anything about Baron Rothvogel. I think I can survive without that information. But the book must survive. Consider the sound theological reasons for allowing this book to exist. I appeal to your duty as a librarian of this abbey to not destroy this book. That's sort of the opposite, because her duty is to the library of the abbot, so she has to do what the abbot or the leader of the abbot tells her to. I propose a compromise. I will take the book from the abbey, far away. Consider the sound theological reasons for... I'll be gone by the time Father Gernot asks about it, and if you like, you can say I stole it. I doubt he'll make a fuss about me stealing a book you wanted destroyed. Well, if I ever come back, it's going to be a problem. I don't like this, Andreas. It feels wrong in my heart. I swear I'll take it far away. It's been out here for years, and besides, how could you have stopped me? So yeah, I guess this is like just showing me. It's good. So, yes. Where should I press? I'm trying to find the... There we go. I'm trusting you in this, Andreas, against my better judgment. Don't make me regret this. In real life, I would probably not do this because she's going to live with the guilt, and it's one of those things that's going to bother her for a long time. Depending on what she finds more important in the end, which is books or the rules, she's going to deal with it for now, but I probably would have, I don't know, take it to the printer and just get all the stuff and then draw like a sketch of the book and then give it to her and they can destroy it, but then at least you'd have an artist who has a copy of it and then her guilt is soothed. Alright. So she's gonna have to tell me about Voldemort. Now then, Baron Rothvogel, quickly though. I need to finish up here soon. You said that he buys books from the Abbey. What kinds? How long has he been visiting the Abbey? He seemed unusually friendly with me. I don't understand it, honestly. He mentioned finding a copy of Historia Tassae. He said it has some scandalous details in it. She may only have time to answer one question, so I should choose carefully. Right, so... You said that he buys books from the Abbey. What kinds? So this would help us know about him and his dealings and what he's thinking about and what he knows in general. And it would give us sort of an opening into his inner life, or at least give us, you know, points of discussion. How long has he been visiting the Abbey? Would give us information on how long he's visited the Abbey. I don't know. There's probably some other trains of thought that you could take from that about his patronage, but he already said that his family has been supporting this place for a long time. He seemed unusually friendly with me. I don't understand it, honestly. So we're not going to end up like being his brother or something like that. I don't know. Hope not. Hope not. I don't know why I said that. That makes no sense. He mentioned finding a copy of Historia Tassae. He said it had some scandalous details in it. So he already mentioned that there were some scandalous details in it, and he might actually mention what they are if, you know, I ask him and things like that. So this would... It's either this or this. I guess because this can be explained away, and if the answer is sort of boring, or, well, not boring, but already known, then I'll ask for this one, just because I'm a curious little fucker. He also mentioned that Father Matthias had a copy and was looking for another to verify its contents. Do you know anything about the boon, the book? I have heard of it, but I have never read it, and I know little about its contents. The subject is broad, but I believe the book deals specifically with the Roman occupation of this land. Right, so that's some old stuff. What about that could have upset Father Matthias so much. What do you think about the Romans in Tassing? I don't claim any deep insights into the former abbot's mind. I understood him to be a virtuous and charitable man, sometimes to a fault. It is not always best when an abbot considers himself a friend to his brothers instead of their shepherd. Do you prefer Father Gernot to Father Matthias? Could something in the book have led Father Matthias to a crisis of virtue? Oh. Virtue is only found in crisis. Without it, virtues are little more than ideals, which is very true. So perhaps there is merit in that idea. Well, I must be off to Mass. Thank you again for your help, Andreas. Wait, how will you get to the church if you can't enter the scriptorium? I thought this was the only door into the library. We are standing in the oldest part of the abbey, and like any old place, it has its share of secrets. Cool. Good day, Andreas. Gott mit uns. No, with you. Sie. No. Yes? I don't know. I don't know German. That's the bell for sex. Oh shit, let's go sex. The brothers will be sitting down for dinner soon. Monastic hour corresponding to noon. One of the little hours of prayer, followed by dinner. Alright, so I should see if Otto is around and still wants to eat with me. I think he's working by the guest house below the abbey. And we're going to do that next time. So we learned a lot of all kinds of stuff. I'm starting to love this game. Not sure how much it is good for not streaming but making videos, but it is pretty good listening, I would imagine, with all the sort of relaxed details and things like that. But I will see you in the next one.